Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good day, depending on the time zone you're in today. My pleasure to welcome all the Jubilant Bhartiya Group employees from across our companies and global geographies for this gratitude meeting today. We welcome teams from Jubilant Consumer, Jubilant Enpro, Jubilant Motorworks, Jubilant Foodworks, Jubilant Agri and Consumer Products, Jubilant Therapeutics, Jubilant Business Services, Jubilant Pharma, Jubilant Biosys, Jubilant Ingravia, Jubilant Pharmova, and Jubilant Bhartiya Foundation. A big warm welcome. We also welcome teams from across the world, United States of America, Europe, Japan, Canada, China, Singapore, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and of course, India. A big thank you for joining us today in this moment of reflection and gratitude. Dear colleagues, we have all witnessed the pandemic and the last 18 months as an unprecedented VUCA. VUCA standing for volatility, uncertainty, change, and ambiguity. A few of us may have been lucky enough not to see COVID infection firsthand ourselves or in our families. However, none of us have been spared the disruptive impact in our ways of work, our ways of living, our ways of downtime, and in our mental health. We have all felt this emotional roller coaster ride, some of us more irreversibly than the others. We gather here today to express our gratitude for the Jubilant Bhartiya Group's support as well as the support of our employees, to celebrate the indomitable human spirit that helps us move forward. We are fortunate today to have amongst us Mr. Shyam S. Bhartiya, founder and chairman, Jubilant Bhartiya Group, and Mr. Hari S. Bhartiya, founder and co-chairman, Jubilant Bhartiya Group, amongst us to address the employees. Before I hand them over the forum, I would like to share a few experiences from our employees across the group companies. Can we have the AV, please? Thank you.
Jubilant has taken many initiatives during this lockdown to boost personal confidence in every employee. Let it be personal health, mental health. There are many workshops have been conducted, and there was one fun activity as well. Putting all the locations together. Let it be oxygen concentrator for the needy people. And also they have boosted our confidence to fight against the COVID. We were very confident and felt very safe. And finally, even the vaccination drive for the entire group of people, really commendable.
I was part of one of the sessions where special yoga instructors and some doctors were there, and they talked about how we could make our quarantine productive. So that also helped me a lot and made me recover quickly.
The COVID task force also ensured the availability of beds and medicines for various of our team members.
अप्रैल 2021 को पॉजिटिव आ गया। पॉजिटिव आने के बाद मैंने मेरे फैमिली का भी रिपोर्ट चेक करवाया, वो भी उसमें पॉजिटिव आ गए। अच्छा हुआ कंपनी ने मेरा आरटीपीसीआर रिपोर्ट किया कि उसमें और लोगों को दिक्कत होता नहीं तो। वो होने के बाद कंपनी ने मुझे अपनी कंपनी के कॉलोनी में बिल्डिंग नंबर 1 में जो आइसोलेशन सेंटर बनाया है उसमें शिफ्ट किया और मेरा ट्रीटमेंट चालू किया।
For
उस टाइम पे कंपनी ने बहुत ही सपोर्ट किया और 4 इंजेक्शन हमें अवेलेबल करके दिए।
आज मेरी फैमिली सेफ और हेल्दी है, इसके लिए मैं एक बार फिर जुबिलेंट मैनेजमेंट का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ। नमस्कार।
धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
I am very grateful to the company for arranging a hospital bed for my father when he was down with COVID. I'm also very grateful to the company for arranging consultations with doctors who work for Jubilant, who were able to advise me correctly on the course of treatment. This was all very timely advice, and I am very grateful for all the help.
I would like to thank you for Domino's helping for me and my family during COVID. Especially thanks for Vibha sir providing medicines and grocery to my family in village, which I was in quarantine center. I am proud to be associated with Jubilant Footwork and Domino's Pizza. Thank you so much.
I was in hospital for a week and I never felt that I am here alone in the city, and I know everybody was standing there with me, and whenever there was anything required from the hospital management, people from the Domino's family were standing together with me in that difficult time. So I am really thankful and grateful to everybody, and really feel proud that I am part of Jubilant family. Thank you everyone.
My father tested positive with severe infection. Today, my father is alive only because of our company timely provided remdesivir injection, and also post-COVID also they helped me a lot about oxygen, providing oxygen concentrator.
हमारी फैमिली डॉक्टर ने एडवाइस करा कि इनका ऑक्सीजन लेवल 70 आ गया है, जो कि डेंजर है, आप इनको एडमिट करो, लेकिन हमको कहीं पर भी जगह नहीं मिली थी। बड़ा परेशान होने के बाद में हमने 8 तारीख को 9 तारीख को जुबिलेंट फैमिली से कांटेक्ट करा, हमारी फैमिली जुबिलेंट फैमिली से कांटेक्ट करा, और हमको 9 तारीख को 9:30 बजे मैंने फ़ोन करा और 10:30 बजे मेरे को कंसनट्रेटर मशीन आ गई, हाफ एन आवर्स, पौन घंटे के अंदर, और 5 दिन में हमारी माताजी की रिकवरी हो गई। आज हमारी माताजी हमारे बीच में हैं, बिल्कुल ठीक हैं, परफेक्ट हैं।
I need oxygen bed for my father, so I called team HR to arrange oxygen bed for my father. So the same day, oxygen bed was arranged in gyms, Greater Noida, and now my father is healthy and doing routine work as earlier. So thanks the team HR and organization to support me during second wave of COVID, where arranging oxygen bed seems to next to impossible.
Proud to be part of Jubilant Bhartiya Group.
Jubilant is a great place to work.
And Jubilant is nice place to work.
I'm proud to be part of Jubilant Bhartiya Group.
I'm proud to be a part of Jubilant Bhartiya Group.
COVID has indeed tested the human spirit. Yet it's heartwarming to see these personal stories of struggles and triumphs. May we march stronger together. I now invite our founder and chairman, Mr. Shamas Bhartiya, to address all. Over to Mr. Shamas Bhartiya.
Thank you, Rohini. Dear colleagues, Hari and I are pleased to be amongst our group employees and share our feelings. We sincerely hope that all of you and your loved ones are doing very well. In multiple waves of COVID-19 across the world, we have all seen losses and uncertain times. Despite all this ambiguity, I am proud that we have come through as one jubilant family, stronger and resilient together. We are overwhelmed with your support and trust. We have been able to navigate through these challenging times, always prioritizing safety and well being of our colleagues and their families. While we are also moving our business forward, your commitment has made all the difference. We have witnessed numerous instances of flexibility, adaptability, and resilience. I would like to specially thank all the frontline employees based across our global manufacturing plants, research centers, our pharmacies, and JFL stores, commissaries, and support function who showed up and supported to the extent possible the business as usual. I would like to call our response to the pandemic in North America, which was capably led by Pramod Yadav, Robert Bobrowski, Norman LaFrance, Mitch Gus, Terry Fulham, Amit Arora, Chris Pretty, Sergio Calvo, Brian Downey, and our site based colleagues. Thanks to their efforts, we could come out successfully by ensuring workplace safety and discipline all through. Kudos to our team Remdesivir, led by Pramod Yadav, Saeed Kazmi, Rajesh Srivastav, Jasdeep Singh Sood, Vikas Bansi, Indranil Nandi, Anil Khubchandani, and their team members. This team developed the product in a record time and made it available to patients all over India and abroad. Anticipating early the severity of second wave of COVID-19 in India, Hari and I pulled together a Jubilant Bhartiya Group task force to provide holistic support to our group employees and their families. Hari and I acknowledge the impactful and the invaluable work done by the group task force led by Rajesh Srivastav, Pratik Pota, Pramod Yadav, Saeed Kazmi, Manu Ahuja, Marcel Veltrop, Amit Jain, Sanjay Malhotra, Arvind Vats, Takesh Mathur, Vishal Mahajan, Vikas Bansi. The other senior leaders who contributed were Ajay Khanna, Arvind Chokhani, Rohini Seth, Jasdeep Singh Sood, Rajneet Kohli, Anand Pandey, G.K. Raman, Neeraj Katoch, Amardeep Singh Aluwalia, Vivek Prakash, Avinash Kant Kumar, Dr. Anil Jain, Prashant Dev, S.K. Jairaj, and our administrative teams led capably by Kamaljit Singh Pavla. In the JFL international markets, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, the teams led by Sanjay Mohta, Iranga, and Satinder did some amazing COVID response work as well. Kudos to the team. Our group task force worked across businesses and geographies to source and administer vaccines at place of our employees, families, and business partners in India. It is commendable that that for most of the India-based employees, first dose of vaccination is already complete. Our teams are now targeting the second and the final dose of vaccination by the end of August 2021. We would like to urge all our employees globally to come forward and support us in this vaccination drive at their respective places, keeping in mind their own safety as well as their family members and colleagues. There are encouraging stories on how Jubilant employees have continued to provide a helping hand to communities and business partners around the globe. This makes me proud of all of you. I want to express my deepest gratitude for your passion, efforts, and contributions. It is with this positive mindset we shall continue to move forward and reach more milestones to shape our future together. The COVID onslaught is not yet over. We need to continue to evaluate the risks, take decisions based on local situations, carefully assessing what's right for our people and businesses. We remain positive on getting back to normal working conditions in a hybrid working model. We will continue to behold our promise of caring, sharing, and growing as we stand together, stronger. Please do take care of yourself. Strictly follow COVID safety guidelines specified in your country to look after yourselves and your families. Thank you.
Thank, thank you, Mr. Shyam Bhartia, for encouraging and kind words. May I now request our founder and co-chairman, Mr. Hari Bhartia, to please share his thoughts.
Thank you, Rohini. Uh, I welcome you all once again to this gratitude meeting. It is really heartening to see all of you together standing committed and strong. It's quite evident that our world, our businesses across geographies, our employees, and their loved ones, we have all experienced a lot of stress and disruptions in the hands of COVID 19. Please do accept Shyam and my condolences for the bereavements. We acknowledge the human loss along with the human spirit of resilience. Please be assured we shall face together whatever lies ahead. We shall prevail and prevail together. At the beginning of pandemic last year, March 2020, we all remember there was so much ambiguity, chaos, and uncertainty. We did not know if we could face this challenge or we could keep our factories, stores, and offices open. And we don't know if we have to keep it open how. Local authorities were reacting differently in different parts of the world. In India, early on, the disruptions were huge. Even essential services like food delivery were shut down. COVID as a virus was unknown to all. Slowly, there was a realization that while we have to fight for safety of people and their health, it started to emerge that keeping livelihood going was equally important. So, from the state of chaos today to having overcome the second wave and vaccinations across the board, this has been a trajectory of unparalleled human spirit, prevailing unforeseen circumstances. Luckily for us, most of our businesses are classified in the essential services category. And therefore, ensuring business continuity even during lockdown was our priority. I salute the invincible spirit of our frontline employees and those working out of manufacturing locations, R&D, stores, food outlets, pharmacies, and other facilities for their efforts and dedication in ensuring minimal business disruption. I must call out the support and effort of our junior most support staff, office boys, IT on site staff, and security guards who were on site. You showed up with belief in Jubilant Bhartiya Group values on each day in the face of personal risk and despite family concerns. We acknowledge you, and your business performance this year is a solid testimony to your being at the front line of action. Many thanks to all of you. Our office going employees have also shown immense flexibility and agility to adapt to new work reality and have ensured the support to the front line. We recognize and highly appreciate your continued perseverance and dedication. I must thank and acknowledge your families, your support systems for their unwavering support, which helped you focus on work in our critical divisions. Pandemics, as you know, has no boundaries. It started from one country and spread all over the world. So at Jubilant, as Shyam mentioned, we decided to cross all boundaries of our different companies and created a combined task force. And I must say that what we saw is a combined strength of the entire Jubilant Bhartiya group coming together in supporting each other. This was an amazing exercise across each of our companies. Shyam has already called out the names of people who led from different companies of ours at factory locations, at store locations, at commissaries, at pharmacies. But it's very difficult to name each and every individual. I'm sure businesses themselves will recognize each one who played a big part in making sure that employees were supported especially during the second wave. Personally, their families, and of course, in doing so, the business continued. Experts say there is an upside from the pandemic. It is the focus of pandemic that has brought out our mental being and mental health in focus. These conversations were always uncomfortable and are now more open and normalized. As we steered through the raging pandemic, focus on mental and emotional well-being gained utmost importance. As you know, the group has tied up with online mental health support services for your guidance. I do hope we can work together to break the taboo on mental health and seek support as needed. I would also encourage you to make time for exercise, rejuvenation, and a healthy lifestyle to deal with the fatigue and burnout that we have experienced during this crisis. In this direction, connecting and communicating with one another becomes vital in providing the much needed emotional support. Here I must caution that we need to be mindful that COVID is not yet behind us. we can see small increase in cases across all geographies. Transmission will increase when we open up completely. Everyone is not vaccinated yet. And more than that, virus is changing and evolving. We don't know where the new strain will come from and whether our vaccines are capable of stopping them. So, preventing oneself from getting infected or making sure that we are preventing others from getting infected by us will be very important. It is also good to know that almost in our group, 95% plus of our employee and their family base are vaccinated by at least one vaccine. This must give us confidence to move forward, but in a cautiously optimistic way. Pandemic, of course, has thrown many challenges. Supply chain, we saw disruption in supply chain. It was becoming more and more important that regionally self-sufficiency is important. We need to have more vendor options. Faster timeline to develop drugs and vaccines. More and more use of technology, especially digital. And we have seen accelerated disruptions in business models. Cybersecurity has been an issue. And of course, safety of employees in workplace is very, very important. I must say that Jubilant did quite well in reacting to these challenges. In almost all our businesses, we saw, I would say, almost an uninterrupted supply chain. We were able to build a vendor base locally wherever we could not move products from one country to the other. Shyam already spoke about development of remdesivir. We saw from the time we licensed the product to the launch within 3 months. This is unprecedented. I think all of you need to be commended on that. We build systems in our workplaces for safety of our employees. Some of them were pioneering work. What we started to do in our API facility was followed by many of the other pharmaceutical companies. And I'm not going to quote all the innovative work and quick fixes that we did to continue our business in a sustainable manner. I'm only hoping that these learnings, these muscle memories will continue with us so that we respond to changes in a very agile manner. Colleagues, these are extraordinary times that need our extraordinary collective efforts to manage the uncertainty facing our people, our markets, and our businesses. Our thoughts on coping in the near future would be to stay humble so that we are continuously learning and are vigilant and are able to see changes that are coming our way. And of course, move with agility and speed with the disruption or the changes that we see in the market. We did quite well in all these characteristics during the pandemic. Before I conclude, I am happy to share that most of our businesses are doing well despite the hardship caused by pandemic, and all of you play a vital role in our growth story. Three cheers for your contribution and dedication in our journey together. Let us continue the momentum and raise the bar of our performance to achieve greater success. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hari Bhatia, for your kind words. May I now invite Mr. Rajesh Srivastava, CEO and MD, Jubilant Ingrevia, Mr. Prateek Kota, CEO and full-time Director, Jubilant Foodworks, Mr. Robert Obrowski, Vice President Human Resources, Jubilant Pharma, to talk about the global COVID task force initiatives. Over to all of you.
Thank you, Roni. Dear colleagues, good evening and thank you for joining us today. I hope you are doing very well. First of all, I'd like to thank both chairman and co-chairman for their unconditional support and guidance during these unprecedented times. Sir, it is your encouragement which has motivated us to come forward together as a group to support our employees and their dear ones. I still remember your clear guidance to do whatever possible to minimize the impact of this pandemic for our employees and to save every single life. Your early guidance and approval to buy vaccines in advance have really helped our colleagues and their families, and we are now one of those companies in the country who have completed the vaccination drive earliest. As soon as this second wave started, recording significant increase in cases, our chairman immediately proposed that Pratik and I to form a Jubilant Bhartiya Group Task Force. This task force was meant to take collective initiatives to address the health crisis affecting the Jubilant Bhartiya employees, their families and dear ones. Immediately, both of us decided to form a group task force team. In addition to this group task force team, each and every entity has their own emergency response team at their corporate office as well as their various locations and sites. Every day in the morning, each and every entity for last 2 months, during those 2 months, used to meet separately, and immediately after that, we used to conduct the group task force meeting. And we used to hear and listen each and every entity's challenges and crises they have been facing during the day. And we used to take immediate decisions then and there with the support of group task force members. To address all the issues timely, both me and Pratik have decided to form 6 dedicated teams to respond the help requirement and the crisis, to address the crisis of each and every entity. These 6 task force team members were decided to address the issues of hospitalization, medicine arrangements, isolation centers, women task force for constant communication with the impacted employees, counseling and wellness sessions, and in the last, vaccination team. Hospitalization support team used to help employees and their families with necessary hospital bed arrangements and provide support in terms of on-call doctor and ambulance, oxygen concentrators, cylinders at the time of need. 24/7 response team was also formed who worked round the clock to check availability of beds in line with the requests received from various entities and emergency response team members. Hospitalization requests during those time used to come on an average 5 to 6 beds every day. In certain days during the peak time, we have seen the demand even up to 10 bed requirement for a day. So it was a huge challenge for our team who were addressing hospitalization. But kudos to the team that they have really come forward and they were in a position to provide bed in maximum 24 hours of the request received. We also received during those days around 5 to 6 oxygen cylinder requirement for our employees, and the team could really manage to provide those oxygens without any impact to any patient during that day. Our medicine arrangement team has been working round the clock. They have been arranging all kinds of medicines. Of course, remdesivir was one of the medicine which was highly required, and we have really managed to provide remdesivir not only to our employees but also to their families, their friends, their relatives, and also to our partners, stakeholders. We were one of the distinct company who have not only taken care of the employee in terms of providing remdesivir, but also we have gone ahead and supported each and every one who have been associated with us at any point of time. We have also formed the task force at each site to address the local issue on immediate basis. And these task force were actually working round the clock to ensure the operation at various manufacturing sites. As we all know, at one point of time, getting COVID test done was very, very crucial. And our team has been in a position to manage successfully to organize RT-PCR testing camps at our corporate office, at our various sites. This has also helped to actually contain the COVID spread. Our contract tracing and testing decision has really helped us to contain the impact of this second wave of COVID to us. Once again, from bottom of my heart, I would like to thank each one of you for your support and cooperation, due to which we at Jubilant Bhartiya family have seen the minimum impact of this COVID. So thank you so much, and I'm sure with this kind of support, we can face any kind of crisis in future, and we look forward for your continued support. And I now request Pratik to also share his thoughts and other initiatives which this group task force has taken. Pratik, over to you, please.
Thank you, Rajesh. Hello, everyone, and I will continue from where Rajesh left off. As he just mentioned, we set up isolation centers in multiple locations: Delhi NCR, Mumbai, Bangalore, Indore, and Chennai. And these centers had doctors, nursing staff, medicines, oxygen support, and ambulances on standby. And this helped many employees and their families to isolate themselves and do so under proper medical supervision and guidance. We put in place 24/7 doctor on call facility, which proved to be immensely useful to many employees. Some of you would recall that it was extremely difficult to get through to a doctor and get medical advice during the peak of the second wave. And this facility was used by many employees and their families to get urgent and much needed medical attendance and guidance. Recognizing that there was a holistic need for both physical and mental health, HR launched an employee well-being and assistance program, working with an external partner. And in this program, employees could seek confidential counseling service for dealing with grief, trauma, or any other personal difficulties, and access resources for both their mental and emotional well-being. In addition, we also appointed yoga and wellness experts who helped employees to deal with stress during these really trying times. As Mr. Bhartiya said in his opening remarks, the group started a massive vaccination drive across India, and we were amongst the first companies to do so. This was organized on a company's premises, the group company's premises, which made it extremely safe and convenient. As Mr. Bhartiya said, we made very good progress on this front, with more than 95% of employees across 75 cities and more already vaccinated. And we'd urge and request the remaining employees to come forward and get themselves vaccinated as well. Despite everyone's best efforts, the unfortunate reality was that we did lose some of our colleagues to the pandemic. While we recognize that nothing that we do would replace their presence or fill their void, we put together a strong ex gratia financial package to support the families of the deceased employees so that they could rebuild their lives without worrying about financial security. A once in a century crisis calls upon us to deploy an equally large and proportionate response. The Jubilant Bhartiya Group pulled out all stops to support their employees and the families in this difficult period. We were able to do so owing to the unstinted efforts of a passionate and dedicated team who worked tirelessly to provide support and help to employees in their hour of need. Thank you, team, for your enormous contribution. You went well above and beyond the call of duty to display empathy, compassion, and care. Specifically at Jubilant Foodworks, I am profoundly grateful to the frontline teams, especially who work tirelessly to keep our stores and our commissaries open and to continue to serve our customers and our communities. These teams of Domino's India, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, and new businesses across multiple functions, operations, supply chain, maintenance, corporate affairs, QA, etc. They are real food soldiers in this war. Thank you, team. We will be sharing the names of all COVID warriors in just a bit. The list of names is not comprehensive. These are just examples and the flag bearers. And in case we missed out on some names, it was entirely unintentional, and please accept our apologies for the same. I will now hand over to Robert Bobrowski to share his experience on how the team managed and handled the crisis in North America. Thank you, stay safe, and over to Robert.
Are we okay now? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, everybody. Looks like COVID's even attacking my computer. So my apologies. But let me begin with a sincere thank you and humble appreciation to all the Jubilant employees who came together to battle this monster called COVID. To date, and I do say to date because it is not over, this battle, Pharma North America has achieved some favorable outcomes, which I'd like to discuss and talk about. I'd like to talk about three in particular. The first one is all sites and BU operations maintain their schedules and operations to ensure that patients receive the life-saving medicines that we came to make. Number two, there were no employee-to-employee transmission of the COVID virus within the North America site. And last but not least, there was no recorded deaths in North America from any direct attributable contact with the virus. Three monumental achievements for the North American facilities. Now, how did we achieve all of this? Well, I'd like to talk about the three pillars of success. The first is we came together as a Jubilant family. The second, which you've heard already, is we established these corporate governances and committees to ensure the regulations of our facilities, communications, and operations. And number three, we had some phenomenal employee efforts throughout the year. So let me take them one by one. First of all, coming together as a Jubilant family. In my opinion, this is far and away the number one reason for our success. Let me take a second just to read to you the definition of family as found in Wikipedia. A group of people related by some type of affinity. The purpose is to maintain the well-being and safety of its members. Now, how did we do this, come together as a family? What strengthened this kinship within the Jubilant family? Well, there was four specific reasons. There was an immediate humbleness to learn from everybody in the organization. We didn't know what we didn't know, and everybody came in with that humbleness to learn. There was no experts when it came to COVID. Number two, obviously one of the oldest adages, very simple. It went from me to we the entire year, immediately. Number three, there was support for each other outside the normal workplace. Support went into personal lives at a rate and an effort never seen before. And last but not least, number four, loyalty. And what is loyalty? The definition of loyalty is a strong feeling of support. And so those four reasons, to me, created this family environment of the Jubilant family at a level and a rate and an intensity never seen before. And this was number one reason for the success in North America. So let me end with a quote from Mario Puzo. Some of you may know Mario Puzo wrote the series Godfather. And so I'm sure he knows a little bit about family. And here's his quote. The strength of a family, like the strength of an army, lies in its loyalty to each other. Nothing could be better said than the year in which we just experienced in the Jubilant family. Okay. Number two, the second pillar for the success in North America. And again, let me roll out my next quote from one of the founders of the United States. And Benjamin Franklin once said, "Well done is better than well said." And I must admit, we had a year in North America of a lot of well done. Let me give you some examples of that well done, both on the corporate level and on the individual level. As you heard in the previous speeches, we established these committees. We had the North America Steering Committee, and we had all the site committees. They provided the necessary support needed. We had fast approvals, we had good decision making, and we had strong communications. These communications came at the consistency and the talking points that were necessary every day to keep this family together, moving along the same path. We also protected our employees on a corporate basis. With our medical plan, we increased the payment on vaccinations. We increased the access to medical care. We paid for more medical care, and obviously we implemented free testing for all employees. In addition, our retirement plan, the 401k, we opened access to our 401k to allow individuals more immediate access to their financial monies if needed to deal with COVID. We spared no expense for the procurement of equipment and materials necessary to keep our employees safe. We even experimented with certain temperature taking devices that we have never seen and were just new in the market, and they have worked fabulously ever since. We increased our access and services for our employee assistance plan. For those of you who don't know, the employee assistance plan covers your mental, physical, financial well-being. It gives you free access to you and your family members, to lawyers, to doctors, to accountants, to mental health psychologists to help manage yourself and your family. And last but not least, we've heard about it. This family came together to really excel and work through the work at home process that we immediately implemented and proved that could work in the Jubilant family. Now, that's some of the corporate initiatives we did. Let's take a look at the other side of the equation and talk about some of that phenomenal individual employee efforts. So without saying names, okay, the loyalty to the Jubilant family, many, if not all employees who were sick with the COVID virus worked from home if they could. Number two, there was examples and almost thousands of employees sleeping with their phone next to their ear. So should the phone ring at midnight, they could pick up, answer it, and deliver the help to another employee as needed. How about working all day and then coming back at midnight to take temperatures in the parking lot to ensure that employees going into the plant were healthy and safe? Another phenomenal event that really worked well in North America was this concept of contact tracing, which enabled this group and the steering committees to come together to find out the source of the virus, immediately alert and protect other employees around this individuals, so we had that no employee-to-employee transmission. We also engaged our chief medical officer to build, design, and deliver a vaccine video that can go to employees and also to their families to teach all of us on the benefits of getting vaccinated. And last but not least, to no surprise, as loyal family members, we saw on a daily basis employees jumping in to help other employees who happened to be stricken either with the virus or having family members. That happened every single day. So in summary, the three initiatives of coming together as the family, implementing the corporate governance, and phenomenal employee efforts led to the three results that you heard at the very beginning of the speech. So with that, as we've heard and we know, great challenges give us great opportunities. So let's continue to strengthen our Jubilant family to defeat this COVID monster and make this year the greatest in our history. So with that, again, a sincere thank you, a humble appreciation to all Jubilant employees. I wish you continued success, health, and safety for you and your families. And with that, thank you very much for your time. Rajesh and Pratik, back to you.
Thank you, Rob. As we have said, each one of you have contributed a lot in supporting and ensuring the health and safety of each one of us and also the business continuity. However, we would like to acknowledge some of our colleagues who have gone beyond and put in their phenomenal efforts, individual efforts, and contributed to help the colleagues across the group companies. And I'd like you to please have a big round of applause for these colleagues whose names will be shown in the AV coming forward. The AV, please.
Thanks, big thanks, Rajesh, Pratik, and Rob, for your updates. Our gratitude to all our COVID warriors across the globe who went over and above the call of duty, embodying our promise of caring, sharing, and growing. Now, very quickly, let's slip into the Q&A session. I'm going to invite Chairman and Founder Mr. Sham Bhartia and Co-Chairman Mr. Hari Bhartia for the quick round of Q&As. Uh, Mr. Sham Bhartia, the first question we have from our teams is for you. The question is, how is the Jubilant Bhartiya Group supporting local governments and communities through the Bhartiya Foundation?
Thank you. Jubilant Bhartiya Foundation is a not-for-profit organization of Jubilant Bhartiya Group and did a great job in around our manufacturing facilities and commissaries of the companies, like distributing masks, sanitizers, dry ration, cooked food, setting up screening camps in the community. They also supported to Prime Minister's Relief Fund to the extent of about rupees 100 million for PM Care Fund. We installed two oxygen plants and created oxygen bank in Uttar Pradesh and also oxygen generators in National Capital Region, Bangalore, and many other places. We also, after launching Remdesivir, I think we provided for many vials for patients belonging to below poverty line and disadvantaged communities. In addition, more than 10,000 vials were provided to different hospitals and government agencies. The foundation also set up a very important isolation centers, four isolation centers at various locations like Nira, Nanjangud, Bharuch, Savli, and distributed more than 2,500 COVID treatment kits for home isolation treatments. I think these are the important initiatives which we took.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Hari Bhartia, a question for you as well. It's our employees who are asking, are there any predictive models to simulate the impact of the next COVID wave around and across global geographies? Could you share some thoughts on that, sir?
Yeah. No, Rohini, as everybody is watching news and probably going on Google, uh, we are seeing the curve is not flat or going down as of now. Globally, even if you see, the number of cases are slowly creeping up because the fact is all the countries are going to open up, and the more you open up, the chance definitely is increasing for higher level of infection. This is what I stated earlier also. And the key question also remains that are there new variants coming in, and I think that's what everybody is trying to watch. And the DNA sequencing is being done in every part of the world, that are they observing a new variant? As we saw, the Delta variant came and spread all over and really increased the rate of transmission. Very, so we don't know if there is a new variant somewhere. So I think the key question is, how good are we in surveillance? I think India needs to share the data, like globally, everywhere, wherever sequencing is going on, and you see a new evidence, so that at least if it if the vaccines are not effective to the new variant, then the vaccine company can quickly go back. The mRNA vaccines have the ability to come back faster. Some of the other vaccines also will try and see that if they are effective. So I think this goes on, and we cannot stop being vigilant. Even, life has to go on. We have to open up livelihood, otherwise livelihoods will get affected globally. And so while we are opening up, it's our own personal responsibility just to be careful, not to prevent infecting ourselves or even infecting others. So I think, in the as far as predictive models are concerned, if you google in, for every region there is a predictive model available. In India especially, some of the best prediction models are developed by IIT Kanpur. Especially for Karnataka region, it is being developed by IISc Bangalore. And they are, as of now, saying that there will be an increase in number because India is opening up. But they don't see a second wave like situation, a third wave, which is as dominating as the second wave was. But obviously, people are saying we don't know if there's a new variant. If the new variant does come up and it increases the transmission, vaccines are not effective, then the whole model will change. So it's an what you know, what surveillance you do now, you put it in the model and you see the results. So that's where I would say where we are.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We're at the hour, and as I wind down today's gratitude meeting, I would like to thank all of our speakers and participants for their presence today. I would also like to thank the team that painstakingly put this gratitude meeting together, including our technical partners. I'd like to close today's session in celebration of the human spirit and with a thought, with a reflective thought. We are all navigating the same COVID storm, but we may not all be in the same boat. The only influence we can be sure of is to navigate our respective boats with empathy and responsibility for each other. Thank you and good day, everyone. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you. Bye bye.